We saw the big data wave coming with all the analytics, predictive stuff, and things like that. And we saw a huge opportunity to move into predictive hiring. And today, we developed a solution which helps our user to identify among their candidates who are the ones who are likely to perform and to be happy. Because we strongly believe that there is no sense to hire somebody if this person is going to live under 6 months or 8 months. And to do that, we focus on potential. And we believe that the potential of every single human being can be defined by 3 different criteria. First one is the way they think, their reasoning ability. The second one is what they want, what motivates them, what drives them. And the third one is their personality, how they will behave under normal or stressful conditions. And this is really, really important to focus on the potential because we believe that recruitment is broken. What does it mean? It means that when you hire somebody, when you consider all the people that you hired, after 6 months, 70% of them will be out of the job because they've been fired or because they resigned. After 12 months, it's 1 people out of 3, and after 1 year and a half, it's 46% of the people who've been hired who disappeared. And it means that every time you recruit somebody, 1 time out of 2, it can be considered as a failure under 18 months. And 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with technical skills. It is because of behavioral related problems. It can be because of the misalignment between the natural of a person and what you ask them to do on an everyday basis. It can be because of the misalignment between personal values of the candidate and the DNA, cultural DNA of the company. Whatever, 9 times out of 10, it's because of behaviors. First advice we can give you is do not automate a broken process. Because everybody heard about the story of Amazon, recently featured in the news. They decided to have a look at the technical position, and so they analyzed all the resumes they gathered between 2005 and 2015, and based on that, they decided to create an algorithm to make the pre-selection process. But the result was not so good, okay, because it has a bias towards women. And the reason is pretty simple. It's because when you consider all those resumes, there were very few women in the samples they used to create that algorithm. So obviously it didn't work. So the algorithm, it's very important to keep that in mind because sometimes we can hear, okay, we don't have to use algorithm for hiring because it's not a good thing. But the algorithm was just a reflection of the previous hiring process used by Amazon. So the first lesson we have to learn is this one. If your hiring process is flawed, they asked me to say that, AI will just make things worse and at a much, much larger scale. You can achieve the best prediction by combining the assessment of aptitude, what the person can do, motivation, what she wants to do, and personality, who she is, how she's going to behave. Because it's not because you are using a psychometric test that you will achieve great results. So you have different possibilities. So you can use what we call the benchmark model. For example, at AssessFirst, we have more than 5 million people who completed an AssessFirst profile. So if you wonder what an auditor in the financial sector in Singapore, what does it look like, we have information to give you for you to know what are the traits that are attached to this kind of position. But the fact is that it will not help you to see if this type of person is going to succeed in your specific context, with your challenges, within your specific culture. So you can also create your own predictive model. it's really simple. You just have to pick the quality you want your candidate to demonstrate. For example, here we selected is assertive with others, tries to convince others, likes to make decision alone. So if I prefer somebody who consults others before making decision, I just have to click on it and it will turn in green. So you can do that with the personality traits, also with the drivers, motivations, and you can also define the level of aptitude that are required to succeed on the job. But there is a limitation to that system. Most of the time, it will only reflect your own stereotypes, your own views, your own bias concerning what is, for example, a great manager, a great salespeople. It can be interesting, but it has limitation. That's the reason why we created another system based on artificial intelligence. It means that, for example, imagine you want to create a predictive model for a sales position. You can assess your current sales team, okay? So you ask them to complete the different questionnaire of AssessFirst, and after that, you just have to rate them on two different attributes. First one being the performance. Are they performing on the job? Do they deliver results? And the second one being the attitude. Do they behave the way you want them to behave? For example, are they team players or things like that? And once you completed all those things, you just have to confirm your choice, and automatically our system will compute and create a predictive model. And for example, this is a predictive model. First thing we give you is the predictive power of this model. It means that, for example, here, if you follow the recommendation we will give you for hiring, in 85% of the time, you will have great chance to hire somebody who will perform and who will be happy and engaged in the work. And the most important part of those predictive models is they are not a black box. It's more a white box. It means that you can see exactly what are the criteria that are involved, that are linked to the performance and engagement. For example, here you have the 20 different personality traits. So you will look for somebody who can be assertive, try to convince others, has the ability to connect emotionally, is open to other people's idea, a person with not high level of organization. It's better to look for somebody who has the ability to improvise, somebody who expresses his feeling, and somebody who is able to take risks. We also give you information concerning the expected motivations, and you also have the range of aptitudes you have to look after. And once you do that, you can automate your hiring process, your pre-selection process. So here, you have all the candidates that applied for the job. Here, this is the percentage of matching with the job. So you can, okay? And if I put the mouse here, for example, you have all the detail. The first one, 39, it's the personality fit. Here, 60% motivation fit, 84 is for reasoning abilities, and we also added a fourth indicator, which is the manager fit. Manager fit, it means that if the future manager, for example, of Shasha completed the questionnaire, the AssessFirst, if he has an AssessFirst profile, we can assess if the quality of the collaboration they will have. So we decided to create like an assistant, something which could make all the work that an expert would do to analyze all those profiles. And so when you click on that, we will highlight in blue all the people who are completely in the target, and we will put in red the people, even if they are 60% or higher, are not such a good match. And when you click on a specific person, you will access, of course, the percentage. You can download the full report with all the questions you have to ask during the interview. And you have, for example, here you can find the probability of success, probability of commitment. If you want, you can add a future manager. For example, here with Colm O'Brien, Emmanuel is 63%. And you have all the detail. So here you can see the profile of Emmanuel on the predictive model. And after, we give you all the strengths and all the weakness for the position. That are the points you have to dig during the face-to-face interview. And you have the same for reasoning ability. And here, for example, you have all the list of the motivations that are required to be engaged in the position. And we also decided to go further because, as we just saw, for Emmanuel, we can anticipate her ability to succeed, to be engaged on the role, but the fact is that she will not work alone. Imagine, for example, if Emmanuel has to work with Clément. Imagine a system, you just have to click on a button and we could analyze what we call the professional affinity. No, it's obviously not what you are thinking about. no, it's professional. It means that, for example, I select here in Clément, I click on his name, and here I have the percentage of matching. And what we did is that we only created a system that reflects what happened in the real life. It means that we all have to work with people. And we all know that with some people, everything goes smoothly. And for other people, sometimes it can be tricky if you have some problems, communication, or things like that. And we also give you additional information on 7 key points, the way they think, the way they act, how they deal with problems, how they resolve a conflict when they have a conflict. And the other point, last point, is we make it empowering. It means that every time a person completes her assessment, she automatically has a feedback concerning her preferred behaviors, what are her strong points, her talent in the 3 domains: relationship with others, working style, emotional management. Also, we give information, those are keywords, a few advice on how this person could be more effective at work, also what motivates her. So with Drive, we assess 20 different motivation dimensions, but here you have the 3 strongest and the 3 that are least important for the person. The activity she prefers, the environment she seeks, the type of management she's responding to favorably, and also the culture in which she blossoms, and we finish with her way of thinking. And what you observe among our users is that they can hire people that are more performing, on average plus 15%, than the people they hired with a more classical way. They can also reduce the hiring cost because they have to do less interviews. The pre-selection is better. They can speed up the hiring process by 30%, and they can also decrease the turnover by up to 50%. And it's not magic, it's just the fact that you select people whose motivations are perfectly aligned with what is required to succeed and to be happy and engaged in the work.